right. We are live. So, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are seeing us. Thank you for joining us today. We are here live again for a Behind the Law session with Luis Gracia, one of our attorneys here at Ruin Sifra. And we're going to be discussing today recent law that was passed. And Luis, we are really interested in knowing the details behind what this law is and how it really does impact not just attorneys, but everyone that's in the state of Florida currently. So, can you give a brief overview of what this new bill is about?
Yeah, so first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Um, Essentially, this new law that came into effect will change decades, literally decades, of Florida law when it comes to issues involving negligence. It will change the fault analysis in the state of Florida. It will limit damages. It will shorten the statute of limitations that you have to bring a claim. And it certainly changes significantly the law when it comes to negligent security cases. Those are the ones that an individual happens to be normally the criminal victim of someone in a motel or hotel. So yeah, it's a really significant change. Nothing that we have seen literally in decades.
Wow. That is it's very interesting and also kind of scary, especially for people that have no idea what it is and what entails until they're actually in that situation. So, when did this actually became a law officially?
The law was actually signed by the governor on Friday, March 24th. So this past Friday, it was signed into law. A lot of people don't know about this. And the reason why is because normally the way it works is that when you have a bill that has such significant changes to the law, that bill is debated sometimes even for the entire legislative session. You have amendments, you have other changes in both chambers of our legislature. We're talking the House and the Senate. This one passed in 3 weeks. The second thing is that normally when you have a bill like this, there is a public signing of the bill. You have cameras, you have media. It's a big deal. I mean, it really is. This one, for whatever reason, was signed in private. So most folks really do not know what even happened. Some media outlets picked it up. In fact, what they actually picked up is the reaction that attorneys such as me had to the changes. And basically, there were almost 90,000 lawsuits filed in less than a week to prevent or to protect clients from actually then having to deal under the new law that makes all these changes.
Yeah, that is a very true fact because I have been asking everybody that's around me because I think if I wasn't here part of the law firm, I would have no idea what it is or what it's about. And you go on Google or you go on YouTube and it's really nowhere to be found. So it's interesting why that happens for this specific law. So as it impacted that news of not really being out there, how is this going to impact the people of Florida?
So I would actually categorize it as there's four specific areas where people are impacted. The first one is the statute of limitations in the state of Florida. Before this past Friday, we had a statute of limitations. That is the time that you have to bring a lawsuit as a result of negligence. In other words, you claiming that somebody else's negligence resulted in damages and losses to you. 4 years. You had 4 years to bring the lawsuit. Now you have two. Is 2 years to bring the lawsuit. So it's basically half of that time. The second impact, which is extremely significant, is the new liability fault percentage analysis that the law brings in. Basically, Florida, again, before Friday, Florida dealt with a system where everybody pays for what they did. So if I bring a lawsuit against somebody for an auto accident, for example, and the jury or the court finds that I was 60% at fault for that accident, I will still be able to recover 40% of my damages. That means that somebody else got cost 40% of my damages. Now, if there is a finding that the individual bringing this lawsuit is 51% at fault, that person gets absolutely nothing, nothing at all. It changes, frankly, the fault, the liability, the negligence analysis significantly, in that now, regardless of whether or not somebody else caused a significant amount of damages to you, if you're found to be 51% at fault, that is not going to matter and you're going to get nothing. Now, on the other hand, if the other person is found to be 51% at fault or more, they can still reduce what they owe you by your own level of fault. So if they find that the other party is 60% at fault, they can still reduce what they owe you by 40%. But if you are found to be 60% at fault, you get nothing. So it's a significant difference in that regard. The third change is the limitation of damages. Now, in essence, if you have, as an example, $50,000 in medical bills, um, and you can show that to whomever, to a jury. Now, basically, what you're going to be able to show is specifically what it is owed. In other words, in the state of Florida, if an insurance company, health insurance, for example, paid medical bills, of course, they're going to pay at a different rate that you would pay if you would come out of the street. So if you have $50,000 in medical bills, your insurance company may pay 10, and that's it. However, your damages, your actual bills were 50,000. Right now, with the exception of Medicare and Medicaid, if a private health insurance carrier pays, in this example, $10,000 out of your 50, you're able to show the jury that you incurred $50,000 in damages to show the extent of your injury, but you don't get to collect that because you don't know that. In other words, what would happen is that the court will reduce what it is owed out of that $50,000 to the amount that you actually have to pay back to your own insurance company for making the payments, right? However, now the way it's going to work is that regardless of whether or not your medical bills are $200,000, if your insurance company pays 20, that's all that you're allowed to present. It's actually more complicated than that, but certainly it's a limitation on your damages for sure. And finally, the fourth way that I believe is significantly impactful is what we call the negligent security cases. Before Friday, if you are the victim of a crime in a hotel or motel, because frankly, they had a broken lock in the door for months, or you were the victim of a crime after you were frankly, in an area where there was significant crime, and the owner knew that to be true and didn't do anything about it. Well, you could actually bring what is called a negligent security claim against the owner of that particular premises, of those of the motel or the hotel, and then the jury will assess how much, if any, of course, that place was negligent to you. Now the law changed, and the owner of the premises is going to be allowed to blame, to put the actual fault of the party who caused your injuries or damages up for a jury to assess fault to, which again basically changes things dramatically, in that they are going to I mean, you sue somebody and you say, look, I'm suing you because, but for your negligence, this individual committed this crime. They're going to be saying, well, now the jury is going to consider the fault of the person who actually committed the crime, meaning that the fault of the individual who allowed this, because of the negligent security, is going to significantly be curtailed, or maybe even eliminated. So those are areas that affect people on a daily basis. So we're going to, of course, keeping, we're on top of that. We're looking at things, but it's important that folks that are watching understand this. We are going to, let me go ahead and just say this. we are going to give a more in-depth presentation to our clients, to viewers that want to see us explaining how this works, how you're going to be affected, so that at least you have the understanding before you, or when you encounter a particular accident or whatever it is. Now you know that you may need to contact an attorney quick.
Okay. Yeah, you heard that. So as soon as anything happens, the best thing to do is get in contact with an attorney like ourselves by calling us at 386-788-7700 to be able to get that guidance, to be able to handle your case the correct way and as quickly as possible. Because as Luis said, the time limits are more shorter now than what it was from before. So it's extremely important to do that. So that way they can gather all the information that there is. And we'll be scheduling later on more in details scenarios like this with other attorneys, as Luis said as well. So all these things are things that we have to look out for as regular consumers, as regular people that are in the streets, staying at hotels or wherever they are. But how can we protect ourselves now that we know this information by using an attorney like yourself?
Well, I mean, the first thing that is really, really important is, I mean, obviously, my advice would always be, look, contact an attorney as soon as you encounter yourself in some of these circumstances. But now the difference is that many insurance companies, frankly, or claim management companies are going to be preparing defenses very, very quick. And the reason why is because before they could make a million arguments, and yeah, perhaps they were going to face liability, and what they wanted to do is at least reduce the amount of liability that we're looking. If they reduce the amount of liability, then they pay less damages. Now, the only thing they have to do is just to get the person who is claiming injury to be portrayed as being 51% at fault. That's all they have to do. And that means that that's the case. That's the end game. In the issue of your damages, the way your medical treatment goes, as well as the way the bills are generated, is going to be very, very important. We handle that and we know what to do. So I can tell you that there was a particular comment by a Florida legislature that said that he wanted folks to call insurance companies right after a particular incident and to try to talk to them, perhaps getting some sort of fair resolution to whatever it is that the person is claiming. I can tell you that I would not advise that for obvious reasons. Contact an attorney like me or us, of course, as soon as possible so that you have the best advice that you can get. In other words, it's going to be advice to you. The way it works, attorneys like me only get paid if we recover for you. And the amount that we get paid is also depending on the amount that we recover for you, if anything. That is not true with insurance companies. They have a different type of view and agenda. And by the way, nothing wrong with that. That's the way our system is created. But to give advice or to try to tell somebody, yeah, go ahead and call the insurance company, talk to them, see what happens, especially now, in my view, is a significant mistake. So you want to contact someone that is going to know what to do for you. And frankly, that's us.
Yeah, because we do have a team of case managers, of nurses on staff that are able to go and look into details in your case, it's specific to be able to address it in a way that you possibly wouldn't be able to express it yourself. So by calling us, it's not even, there's no charge. So if you're scared of getting a charge by calling us, the consultation is completely out of charge. It's free. Call us, ask your questions, and we'll guide you the right way or refer you to the right person that might be able to answer that question. But you definitely will be in good hands by contacting Ruin Sifra, an attorney in your area, to be able to assist you dealing through this new law, especially. Um, Thank you, Luis, for your information. I know later on throughout the month in April, we're going to be scheduling some more sessions like this where everyone will be able to come in, ask questions. More of our attorneys will come in and talk a little bit more in detail of what this law is, since it's just still completely evolving with that. And we are on it, educating you, because that's what we're here for. We want to educate the people that are within our communities. So thank you again, Liz. It's always such a pleasure on doing these sessions with you. Is there anything else that you want to add as a final touch point and
Yeah, I
reminder
mean,
to everyone?
of course. Listen, like you said, consultations are free, and remember that if we handle your case and we cannot recover, you owe us absolutely nothing. You got a free lawyer. That's the most important thing. And for whatever it is, and for whatever it's worth, what I'm saying this, we will always, always, always try to literally fight for you because it's our business. So it's
Mhm.
simple as that. So, yeah, after this Friday, it's really, really important that you call as soon as you can. And we're here to help. So, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.
You too.